We are going to talk about a story that is absolutely bonkers and how stupid it is. What about Chet? We could have talked about Chet.
Well, that would have been too highly intellectual.
Yes, it would have. So it says, Euphoria's Sydney Sweeney faces heat for mom's party featuring MAGA-like hats and Blue Lives Matter shirts. This is not a fake headline. This is a real headline. Also, I have to ask, MAGA or MAGA?
I always thought it was MAGA.
I think.
It's MAGA?
I like MAGA.
Or, and the real question is, are you dark MAGA?
Dark MAGA.
You're dark MAGA? I'm nuclear MAGA.
Okay.
That was the new level added after last
Turbo.
Yeah, after. It's beyond. So it says Euphoria star Sydney Sweeney excitedly shared that she had thrown her mother a surprise hoedown for her 60th birthday and was quickly slammed for the customized "Make 60 Great Again" hats donned by guests.
That's cute. I mean, that doesn't even mean you like Trump. It's just funny.
This is the point I keep making. Nobody failed this culture harder than hipsters who were too weak to wear "Make America Great Again" hats, ironically.
Sorry that a bunch of baby boomers decided to wear a gag gift at their friend's birthday party.
And it says, Sweeney shared on her Twitter a heartfelt message writing, "You guys, this is wild. An innocent celebration for my mom's milestone 60th birthday has turned into an absurd political statement. In images shared by her brother, guests of the party are seen wearing wearing hats that are apparently derived from former President Donald Trump's infamous MAGA, or Make America Great Again. The hats, which were frequently imitated, and that is true, there's like hundreds of varieties of that hat, was not intended to cause such an uproar, according to Sweeney, who wrote, "It is not the intention, and please stop making assumptions." This is the world we live in now, guys. You can't even... Fun is no longer allowed.
An innocent hoedown with your family.
What is the world coming to when two male models can't have a harmless
gasoline
Idaho fight? Did you get that reference?
No, I just like the voice.
Nobody's seen Zoolander?
Zoolander.
Oh.
I've
Two
seen
male models in the
Zoolander.
harmless gasoline fight.
Okay. Yeah, now I know the reference.
In addition, one male guest was seen wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt photographed by Sweeney's mother and grandmother.
How dare he?
And the funny thing is that, like, I have, like, for the thumbnail that I made for this video, there's some that were like criticizing her, where they show the picture of her and her brother arm in arm, and then they circle the hats on the people behind them, like, look at them.
Yeah. It's honestly a schizophrenic level of anger that they have, like, making connections between things in the photo that aren't related.
Like Drew Barrymore in The Rain.
Oh my god.
I mean, do you want to, like, get into
racist rain frolicking?
Basically, guys, to explain what we're talking about, there's a video of Drew Barrymore frolicking in the rain on TikTok and just laughing and having a grand old time. And then a TikTok creator reacted to that. She stitched that video and said that by frolicking in the rain on TikTok, Drew Barrymore opened the floodgates for people to disrespect and silence Black creators on the platform.
Because
no idea why
totally
or how.
Related. Yeah.
I tried to really give it my best shot and understand her explanation, but she didn't have one.
That was yes, it's the same.
But it's the same delusional.
When you listen to those videos and the explanations, I feel like I'm losing brain cells.
It's like I'm waiting dumber. For her to get to the point, and it never happens.
The point never actually comes.
Yeah, and then it's the same. It's the exact same brain rot that led to this controversy over Sydney Sweeney's poor mother's birthday party getting scrutinized.
Yeah, I feel like also, why do people attack celebrities or public figures' families? Like, leave their families and friends alone.
Because of guilt by association, they are implicated by anything. Like, a public figure is implicated by anything people in their personal lives do or say.
But that's, like, not the case,
which is
for everybody
untenable
else.
because...
Nobody.
I don't like if you heard what your like whoever you stan, if you're some kind of deranged Twitter stan, if you heard and saw everything that your idol does in private, I don't think that you would be happy.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because they have projected their own views of the world onto this person and expect them
it's like
to parrot them.
Literally
expect
celebrities to be their messiah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like they can't just enjoy the art that they create.
And then what they're saying is that she is like enabling racism or something. Well, and then what I hate the most about it is they're acting like bouncers for this exclusive club
Gestapo.
that everyone's just dying to get into, when in reality nobody wanted to sit at your table. No one was even interested in like being included by you.
Well,
I'm sure Sydney Sweeney doesn't care what you think.
Also,
that's
it's
Her
another
mom's
thing.
birthday party, she doesn't care whether you find it acceptable, which is why she shared photos of it in the first place.
I'm glad she didn't like put out some sort of
apology yeah.
and just
I hope she doesn't.
said this is, ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I think the whole like MAGA hat thing, it's such a well-known phrase that having a hat as some sort of spin-off of it doesn't even necessarily
It's a gag
mean
gift.
anything
Like,
political.
it doesn't mean
but
anything.
even if it was political, like, what's the
Even
big
if
deal?
her family was the group of the most rootin' tootin' redneck conservative Trump supporters ever that you've ever met in your life, why does it matter?
Right, I think.
Why does it personally hurt you?
But like, what's even more disturbing to me than the whole like Trump derangement syndrome thing is that people have such a difficult time accepting that other people think differently than them.
Yeah.
And that's our whole world. We all get to have our own opinions based on our own experiences and the things that we've seen and the things we know. And why is one side so disrespectful of the other?
And they're alleging that Sydney Sweeney failed in that she hasn't called out her family members.
Because you're not allowed
called
to.
out.
No,
And when in
I
reality,
respect her more for letting
maybe
her
she
family do what
shares
they
your
want.
same values, and she did call out, if you want to call it that, her family members or friends for having political views that she deems, despicable. Maybe she did in private actually talk to them about it, but you don't know, and I don't think you care either. You just want to castigate people, like ordinary people. Now, I don't want to say Sydney Sweeney's whole extended family is like the model of normality. Not normalcy, normality.
We're bringing normality back here at Pop Culture Crisis.
I think
Because her grandparents said that she has the best tits in Hollywood.
yeah, they're
I
not
don't
exactly
think they're normal. And then her parents relocated while she was like 13 or 14 years old so that she could pursue an acting career and save them from poverty. I don't think that those are normal things that happen in someone's childhood. But
what was the top tweet?
every family gets to define their own standard of normal, though. Like,
I don't think it's normal to like watch sex scenes of your grandchild.
Yeah, that's
and then compliment
weird.
her.
Unless Sydney Sweeney forces her parents to vote for Joe Biden at gunpoint, I can no longer in good conscience stand her TV show about high schoolers snorting heroin out of each other's mouths.
It's just the new
Biden's
puritanical standard that they have come up with.
Yep.
It's an amoral society looking, just like combing through for things to moralize about.
Yep. It's also funny. Like I imagine that the people who say that she should have called out her parents don't exactly have the most stable relationships with their families. If you believe that that's where you draw the line. Like I have family members I don't agree with on things, and believe it or not, I still love them and don't really care what they.
Normal people can sit around the table at Thanksgiving with, their family members whom they love and disagree with.
This goes back to like the old Vice articles about like what to say at Thanksgiving when your right-wing uncle comes and starts.
I hate when the memes start around Thanksgiving when the memes about political differences come up.
I always
hate it.
Like when I hear people talk about how they won't associate with family members anymore because
like that's a
political
problem,
reasons.
sure.
I feel like there's a deeper thing to that because I have friends who disagree with me politically, and we may not have discussions about the things that we don't necessarily agree on that we know is just going to bring tension, but we can still go have a skate session or hang out or play music and it's fine.
For the most part, I have friends that disagree with me on certain things, but it's never been brought up because I don't they might talk about that stuff, but I tend to keep that stuff to myself.
I don't think anyone has a single friend that they agree with on everything.
And it would be weird, but
it would be weird if you did.
And we had a culture where for a lot of years it just wasn't seen as that serious.
If that's all your friends, you might be in a cult.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they want to enforce on public figures that they have to have the whole chosen family dynamic.
Imagine if me and Mary agreed on everything. Me and Mary agree on one out of
this
every
would be a boring
10
show.
things.
I think we disagree on just about everything.
We tend to disagree on just about everything, but we get along because we understand that there's more to the world than the funny thing is
we're not mentally ill.
I've been
freaks
watching a lot of it lately. There's been a lot of discussion about how bad things are, right? Like the world's falling apart, this and that. I'm like, if you're out in the world, do you really experience it the same way? Like, if you didn't have the internet telling you that the world was falling apart, in which case you're just prone to your own level of propaganda, right? Like, very few people make a conscious effort to get information from both sides of the aisle and then figure out where they stand on those issues on everything. Most people don't have the time, right? Sydney Sweeney probably doesn't have the time to do that. She's busy making her weird show about
She's busy
heroin
working and barely surviving off of
a couple $1 million.
Wage.
Yeah. So it's like if there wasn't somebody online telling you that the world was falling apart in the real world, outside of seeing I've seen food shortages. I guess that's true. Like I have seen prices go up, but I'm not seeing chaos in the streets everywhere I go. I saw riots during 2020 because I was from Minnesota. And that was and that was awful, and that was the extent of it. But that was a very, very polarizing time. I don't think it is the same. I don't think things are good right now.
No.
And this was coming up because I was reading about Ozzy Osbourne earlier and him leaving the country supposedly because of all the shootings. I'm like, or tax reasons. That when he initially said tax reasons, now he's saying this. I don't know which one. I don't know if he's seeing a lot of shootings out there in Calabasas. But if you didn't have a talking head on the TV or a talking head on YouTube or a talking head anywhere telling you that the world was falling apart, is it? Maybe. But would it have affected your life the same way?
Yeah, and if you want to stay sane, you have to remember that celebrities and Twitter are reliably going to reflect the worst parts of society,
because it benefits them.
And I think
and often artificially. They are artificially amplifying anger and hatred where it doesn't exist.
I would like to think that we have
just dividing people.
I would like to think that we have fairly rational discussions here about topics that tend to lean one way, but we give fair shake to almost everything we talk about when we discuss it. Everyone's got their certain things that annoy them or set them off. I can rant on certain things, but I would like to think that we can have honest discussions about most of this stuff. But you're not going to have those on Twitter. It's not what Twitter's for.
Well, what is Twitter even for? That's what they sell themselves to be.
One person commented after she made her statement. Did we read her official statement where she says,
her
"You
tweet?
guys, yeah, you guys."
Did.
Okay, so she makes her statement and says, "Happy birthday, Mom," and stop making assumptions about what this means. One person says, "Then you should have selected other pictures to post that wouldn't be left up to interpretation in this manner."
Also, that was her brother that posted the pictures, not her.
Lesson learned for you, I assume. The snark is just. If I could kick that tweet out a window, I would. I would kick the actual tweet out a window. I should print it and kick it out a window.
But again,
so
good for her
sinister.
for just calling out the silliness and, brushing it off as being absurd, because it is. And there's a lot of people who get called out for something, and out of fear, they put out some statement about, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend people." But, it sounds like a very innocent thing.
Maybe it's just Sydney Sweeney's face that makes me think this, but she seems to be a jaded person. I don't think she can easily be scared into tweeting something apologetic.
If she was my age, she would have been in Mean Girls. She would have absolutely been in Mean Girls. She's got
as Karen?
She's like half Lacey Charbet and half she's got.
She looks like Amanda Seyfried a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, actually.
So she would have been in Not Another Teen Movie.
And also, she plays a teenager, but she is a woman, a grown woman in like her mid-20s and understands how to conduct herself around in like an adult way, like in the adult world, probably for longer than she should have, but at least that means she can't, you know, be bullied and bossed around.
Well,
on
there's
the
plenty of
internet.
people far older than her that give in and crumble and cave and apologize.
I think
very
often
quickly.
it's celebrities who were most of their time being famous has been before social media, so they don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah, like the Macy Gray thing. That's like the most recent
Yeah.
one I can think of, where she said something and then immediately was like,
I can't-
actually.
It's like a
Everyone's mad at me.
caveman poking a fire. Like they don't know what it is yet, and they're kind of scared of it.
Yeah.
Like her, she can make the conscious effort ahead of time. Like, I know this is going to annoy some people, but fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Macy Gray is like, I do not get it, and I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to post it anyways. And then they do, and I'm like, how do they not know? Like, okay, maybe that actually counters my own argument that things are as bad, but they're only as bad on the internet. Like, they're not as bad in the real world, but whenever I see stuff like this, I'm like, how did they not know that this was going to happen to them? So maybe I'm proving my own argument wrong.
Maybe they
Yeah,
just
maybe
don't care.
she knew and didn't care, which is kind of based.
That's-
I don't like Sydney Sweeney though,
But
just for other reasons.
I don't know enough. I've seen like, you know, clips here and there of the Euphoria show, but that's about all I know of her.
But maybe that's all that's the best we can hope for, is in 10 years when everyone who's famous, when more people that are famous only grew up in this age, they learn to just say, I know this is going to piss people off, but I'm going to post it anyways. And then everyone can kind of have their day.
It goes the other way though,
Which
too.
weirdly takes a lot of bravery for some people,
Yeah.
That's
depending on your temperament.
Yeah.
it's very
Some people
strange to
really
me.
can't handle backlash.
It's weird to me that that's considered brave now. Like,
yeah.
just, you
'Cause
know,
we're so
owning
fragile.
No,
what you want to say.
The argument there is like, look, if you're a dude or a woman and you get into a fight, that fight lasts 5 minutes. You get punched in the face, it hurts, it heals very quickly. You say something that sets off enough people online, that abuse will rain down on you for days and days and days and days.
And you'll be asked for comments on it for days.
It will be psychologically abusive to you if you don't have the temperament to just ignore it or to make your statement and be done with it. You're liable to be basically psychologically abused for an extended period of time. That's not something that everyone has the ability to cope with.
Yeah.
Like, it actually helps. Like, certain celebrities, once you get to a certain level of fame, that's going to happen. You could post like, I love the color blue, and 900 comments like, oh, fuck you, orange is the best color. Like, that's going to happen. Like,
You racist.
like yeah, like it doesn't matter. But for the average person or a Macy Gray who is famous but probably goes through waxing and waning periods of relevance depending on whether she's performing, whatever. I don't know, but it's hard. So I don't know if I necessarily discount it as not brave, but I do believe that it's something that they have to learn to make that decision for themselves, or just get off the phone. Like,
Yeah.
let your
How is
social media
cyberbullying
person,
real?
let your social media person handle it, and just don't engage.
I get a lot of hate on social media, and it's been a few months now of consistent every single day. But I think the way I deal with it, and I think the way a lot of people deal with it, is you know that there's nothing to be ashamed of about what you said.
Yeah,
So you don't take it so personally.
that requires a
That's
certain
my
level of self.
philosophy about the cart returning thing.
Yeah.
I have nothing to be ashamed of.
There is a certain point where you have to have a certain, like, if you don't have a certain level of self-confidence, you will suffer.
Yeah.
And most people don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, being bombarded like that online, it's a difficult thing to navigate for anyone. I think, especially like celebrities, I think it's just part of the gig that a lot of times, especially now, they know they're getting into. But when it happens to like regular people, just randomly, it's wild. But what can you do except for brush it off and think, you know, these people are going to post what they're going to post, but
Also, remember, we're in a society now.
I'm confident about what I had to say.
We're in a society now that turned this into like a hate symbol. So like you're screwed either way. Like, you're gonna end up pissing
He
somebody
did the
off.
okay sign for Spotify listeners.
If you're a Spotify listener, yes, I still see that one sometimes. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.